Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, and today we're getting some more Ultra League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. Alright, I got a shoutcast for you guys from a friend of mine, a fellow Pokemon Go PvPer, a highly skilled battler from my area. So I'm excited for this set that he submitted. It's a team that's featured and circled around Ampharos, Gallade, and Abomasnow. So some pretty spice picks, some pretty solid Ultra League Premier Cup picks. They all can put in work in their respective areas. And he says he's been having a lot of success with the team, so I'm excited to check out this set, share the battles with you guys, and if you're excited to see any of these three mons in action, especially all on the same team, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump into this set. So, on this team of three, he's running Ampharos in the lead, with Abomasnow and Gallade in the back. I'm assuming off the bat that Gallade is probably going to be used more as a safe swap option when he loses leads, but I guess these matches we'll find out. So, in this first match, this is a pretty neutral lead. He's dealing neutral Volt Switch damage to the Crustle. The Crustle's dealing neutral Smackdown damage to the Ampharos. Both their charge moves will be neutral to each other. Also, he decides to shield that X's that comes through. He's built all the way up to the Focus Blast, but he's going for the Thunder Punch. So the question is, will his opponent match the shields? His opponent does match the shield, and honestly, if he could have gotten the Focus Blast to land, somebody in my comment section recently, shout out Mark's son, he mentioned to me that Focus Blast is higher DPE than Thunder Punch is, so he might have been better off, or not better off, but if he could have landed the Focus Blast, that would have been better for him. Either way, he doesn't, and let's see how this lead matchup is going to play out. He just barely gets to the Thunder Punch there, which, if his opponent doesn't shield, will allow his Ampharos to win this one shield matchup by that much health. So quite crazy, quite close of a matchup there. His opponent comes in with an Executor to farm down the Ampharos, but he has a solid hard counter in Abomasnow to deal with his Executor. His opponent hasn't swapped right off the bat, so it's kind of telling me that his opponent's last Pokemon might also be weak to Abomasnow. I'm quite surprised that the Executor stayed in this long, and he committed the shield to it. The Executor's going for a charge move of their own here, and this could be a grass move which would be resisted, or it'll be a neutral psychic, so it's a good thing he decided to use a shield. His opponent then swaps into the Obstagoon, so I'm surprised the Obstagoon didn't just come in immediately to try and, I guess, lure out Radnixi's last Pokemon. He's going to get off a Night Slash here, which will do some chip damage to the Gallade, but the Gallade has close combat, and this close combat is going to one-shot the Obstagoon, putting Radnixi in a pretty solid spot here while trying to win this match. So the close combat one-shots the Obstagoon, the Executor comes in, the Executor's dealing neutral confusions to the Gallade, whereas the Gallade's confusions are resisted going up against the Executor, but the Abomasnow already has a Weather Ball charged up, which means he can come in here, take out the Executor's remaining health, and win the first match. Getting into the second match of the set, I actually recognize his opponent's name. I'm pretty sure that opponent's on my friends list. Anyhow, he's losing lead hard here with Ampharos on a Swampert lead, and let's see what he decides to save swap. He save swaps into the Gallade here, like I suspected, and his opponent matches with an Alolan Muck, which isn't exactly a great matchup for the Gallade. I guess the way he's going to try to want to play this is build up to two close combats and spam both of them, potentially throwing a Leaf Blade to bait. He's not going to shield the charge when it's coming through. It's going to be a neutral Dark Pulse. Gallade will just barely survive this, but the Alolan Muck had two Dark Pulses charged up, so he's going to definitely have to commit shields here in order to get off both of his Gallade's charge moves. So he builds up to the close combat. He's going to get the first one off. The question is, will his opponent commit the shield? Because it's pretty obvious two close combats are coming at him. His opponent does commit the shield. He's going for the second close combat. Will his opponent commit both shields here to make sure that they line up and keep switch advantage? They did commit both shields, so at least now he can leave the situation with shield advantage, but unfortunately, once he takes out this Alolan Muck, there's a Swampert in the back that can deal with this Ampharos. So he's not committing any shields to this Ampharos. He's going to completely rely on his Abomasnow in the back to sweep the back line of his opponent's team. And he's going to get off this Thunder Punch here, which will put the Alolan Muck pretty low, but is not going to take out the Alolan Muck's remaining health. So this is going to definitely be a close one. The question is he going to be able to pull this off? If he didn't commit the shield in the Sludge Wave, he's definitely not committing the shield on this Dark Pulse that's about to come through. It's going to take out the Ampharos' remaining health. So the question is, can Abomasnow pull this off? His opponent's last Pokemon is a Gengar. This is definitely going to be a really close match. He's going to get this Weather Ball off, but it's going to be neutral. It's not going to one-shot the Gengar. It's going to get the Gengar into the yellow, and his opponent's built up a bunch of energy. This could be a Shadow Ball. This could one-shot the Abomasnow, so he definitely needs to use a shield here. It unfortunately ends up being a Shadow Punch bait, and his opponent decides to throw the next charge move right after. So it kind of confirms that this is going to be another Shadow Punch that comes through, and now he's just going to over-farm against his Gengar, and he's committing to a complete Powder Snow down at the Gengar. So right now, there's a Swampert in the back. Once that comes in, it's going to get one shot by the Energy Ball, and there's an Alolan Muck that, with its remaining health, would get taken out by a Weather Ball. Did I say Weather Ball for the Swampert? I meant Energy Ball. Energy Ball, one shots a Swampert. The Alolan Muck comes back in. He gets off the Weather Ball. This Abomasnow just swept his opponent's back line, and he's able to overcome a bad lead and a bad switch in because of how solid Abomasnow's play was there. Off the bat, as I continue to watch some of these matches, one main weakness I'd be worried about for this team of three is a potential Charizard in the back. Abomasnow and Gallade both don't have exactly great play against a Charizard, but at least he does have an Ampharos to deal with it if he runs in the Charizard in the lead. In this next match, he has a solid lead with Ampharos on and Empoleon. His opponent swaps in a Kingdra. He matches his Kingdra with his Abomasnow, and he's sitting in a pretty good spot here. One lead, win, switch in. These Ice Punches are going to deal neutral damage to the Kingdra. He's going to be able to spam them. An Outrage would hurt. Octazooka would be resisted, so he has to make sure he's calling the right move here. He decides a shield, ends up being an Octazooka bait, unfortunately, and he gets debuffed, so it's not exactly ideal. He's over farming a bit here, gonna go for the Weather Ball, but because he was debuffed, this Weather Ball is not gonna be able to take out the Kingdra, or really even, I mean, it's gonna get it low, it's gonna get it into the red. Unfortunately, again, the debuff would have gotten it lower, probably could have committed to a Powder Snow down in the Kingdra. Unfortunately, not able to. Not going to commit the shield here. Ends up being another Octazooka, which he survives. Gets debuffed again. He's over farming. If he didn't get debuffed twice, he would have been able to Powder Snow down. But he's almost at like 2 Weather Balls here. So this Weather Ball will take out the Kingdra, but it gets shielded. He's at the other Weather Ball and could not get it off. So unfortunately is not able to keep switch advantage here. Goes into the Gallade, but Gallade has a solid matchup against his opponent's Empoleon. So Empoleon really doesn't have any actual play against Radnitsky's team. Honestly, all 3 of his Pokemon handle Empoleon pretty well. He's going straight for the close combat. It would one-shot the Empoleon if not shielded. One-shots the Empoleon. His opponent's last Pokemon is a Dragonite, but considering the situation he's in, Ampharos has a little bit of energy. The Volt Switches are going to deal super effective damage. The Slender Punch would deal super effective damage, and it's a Shadow Dragonite. So it's going to take more damage from these quick moves and charge moves and all these super effective moves that are coming through. He's committing the shield. This is definitely a Dragon Claw. He would definitely survive even if he didn't shield. He's going to get off this Thunder Punch. I don't think it's going to take out the Dragonite from this health, but it's going to get so low that the following Volt Switches definitely will. So it gets the Dragonite into the red. He gets off one Volt Switch there. He gets off another one. Would have taken out the Dragonite. His opponent decides to quit because he had no chance there, and he played that match solid, especially even though he won lead and lost a switch. It was clutch the way he uses Gallade there. So far, this is a 3-0 set, and we've been seeing some extremely exciting endgame matchups. Getting into the 4th match, he's got Ampharos on a Escavalier lead. I know this lead pretty well because when I ran Ampharos, I was seeing nothing but Escavaliers. The way I like to play this one out is I know, obviously, the Ampharos has to shield. It cannot tank a drill, run super effective damage, hurts Ampharos way too much. So he's shielding this. He's building up to 2 Thunder Punches, and how I would typically play this out is I would get off both these Thunder Punches, getting a little bit of lag there, ends up with another Volt Switch going through, and then also getting the Thunder Punch off. But regardless of that, he gets his opponent's shield there with the first Thunder Punch, gets the second Thunder Punch off. This is going to put the Escavalier in the red, and how I would typically like to play this is the Escavalier is going to get to another charge move. I would actually shield it because the Ampharos has a decent chunk of health here, and then could commit to a Volt Switch down of the Escavalier and have a bunch of energy too. He decides not to shield it. He's going to bring in his Gallade here to confusion down the Escavalier, and at least have a little bit of an energy advantage going into the next matchup because they're still equal in shields. So let's see what his opponent ends up countering his Gallade with, and he ends up countering with a Gallade of their own, but theirs is a Shadow. So these Leaf Blades are going to hurt his opponent's Gallade quite a bit more because the Shadow Glade is going to take that extra damage, but then again the Shadow ends up dealing extra damage, so a Leaf Blade from his opponent's Gallade will also hurt probably just as much. I guess a 20% kind of equalizes itself in this type of mirror matchup. And then his opponent swaps in a Swampert into the Gallade because he wanted to try and keep his own Shadow Gallade alive, which meant he had to shield that Leaf Blade that came through, and unfortunately just fall short of another Leaf Blade that would have one-shot the Swampert, but he's still in a great spot because he has an Abomasnow in the back, and an Energy Ball from this Abomasnow is going to one-shot his opponent's Swampert. The question is, does the Swampert have a Sludge Wave, and is that Sludge Wave going to be the move that comes through? That might make this a little bit more of a tighter match. Ends up being an Earthquake, definitely sitting in a great spot now because the Abomasnow has a lot more health than it would have had if that was a Sludge Wave. This Energy Ball is going to take out the Swampert. The Shadow Gallade is going to come in, and he's going to be able to Powder Snow it down. So even if it was a Sludge Wave, actually I don't think it one-shots. The Abomasnow would have just barely survived. I think I could be wrong on that one. But then again, the following Confusions could have taken out the Abomasnow. So that Swampert having Earthquake was huge. So, getting into the 5th match, can he clinch the 5-0? Every Pokemon on this team has been doing its part in helping him win these matches. Again, that's what you love to see from a team that I consider pretty balanced. One weakness, though, would be this Charizard if it was going up against his back line. Luckily, he ends up catching it on his lead Ampharos. His opponent counter swaps with an Obstagoon. He matches that Obstagoon with a Gallade, and his opponent's getting off a charge move here. Should be a neutral Night Slash. It'll deal a decent amount of chip damage here. The question is, does the Obstagoon get the buff? It gets the buff. So the way you definitely want to play this out is, since the Obstagoon is buffed and boosted, really boosted, and I guess not buffed, but is boosted, is that the Obstagoon's going to want to commit shields, or the opponent's going to want to commit shields to the Obstagoon to protect it, considering it has that boost. So he recognizes that. He goes for the Leaf Blade here, almost definitely guaranteeing the fact that he's going to get a shield from the Obstagoon. Gets that shield. Ends up building up and going for the close combat here. So now the question is, does his opponent want to commit both shields, or is his opponent expecting another Leaf Blade because of the bait before? Ends up getting the close combat to land, which is huge. I'm surprised his opponent just didn't want to shield no matter what. I guess they just didn't want to get caught getting baited twice, and they bring in their Charizard to Fire Spin down the Gallade. He brings in his Ampharos though to meet this Charizard. The Charizard's going for a charge move here. Question is this going to be a bait, or is he going to go straight for the big move? Ends up being the Blast Burn. Great shield on his part. Could have swore he clicked that Thunder Punch for a CMP tie. Guess not. His opponent then swaps in an Executor, and he has the perfect counter for it in his Abomasnow. This Weather Ball will definitely one-shot the Executor, considering it's also a Shadow. Lands, one-shots it, but not exactly the most ideal situation, because now Charizard can farm down. Luckily, Abomasnow stayed alive long enough to get off this Weather Ball, and his opponent has to shield this because it would take out the Charizard's remaining health, or at least get it low enough where the Powder Snows probably would have, because Charizard's a glassy Pokemon, and the Weather Balls would have been neutral. Now, the Charizard has a bunch of energy. And getting off the charge move, going to be a Blast Burn. Ampharos is chunky enough, though, to survive it. He has a Thunder Punch already loaded. Gonna get it off. Clutch endgame. Ampharos is going to take out the Charizard, and he's going to clinch the 5-0 set. Shout out Radnitsky, I appreciate you sending in those battles. The team, I really enjoyed watching. Other than that Charizard weakness to the back line, I think it has some solid play against the Ultra League Premier meta. Let me know what you guys thought of the battles and the team comp. Also, if you have your own battles that you want to submit, the Google Drive link to submit battles is in the link of this video. So please feel free to. I would love to watch over your battles. Other than that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.